I sabotaged my boss's presentation after being passed over for a promotion and discovered she stole my work, then confronted her. It was supposed to be my big break. I had been working at Crestline Marketing for 5 years, climbing the ladder one rung at a time. I'd put in the late nights, the weekends, the endless hours of brainstorming and strategizing. I'd earned my stripes, and everyone knew it. So when the position of senior marketing manager opened up, I was sure it was mine for the taking. I'd spent weeks preparing for the interview. I'd polished my resume, rehearsed my answers, and even bought a new suit. I was ready. But then, the unthinkable happened. I was sitting at my desk, nervously tapping my pen against the keyboard, when my boss, Linda, walked into the office. She had that look on her face, the one that said she was about to drop a bombshell. "Hey Alex," she said, leaning against my desk. "Can I talk to you for a minute?" I nodded, my heart pounding. "Sure, Linda. What's up?" She took a deep breath. "I wanted to let you know that we've made a decision about the senior marketing manager position." I felt a surge of hope. "Oh," and she hesitated, and that's when I knew something was wrong. "We've decided to go with someone else." I blinked, stunned. "What? Who? Emily?" I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Emily. Emily was a junior associate who'd been with the company for less than a year. She was good, sure, but she wasn't ready for a senior position. Not like I was. "Emily," I repeated, my voice shaking. "But why?" Linda sighed. "Look, Alex, you're a great employee, but we felt that Emily brought a fresh perspective to the table. She's got a lot of potential, and we think she's the right fit for the role." I stared at her, trying to process what she was saying. It didn't make sense. I'd worked so hard, sacrificed so much, and for what? To be passed over for someone who hadn't even earned their stripes yet. "Alex," Linda said, snapping me out of my thoughts. "Are you okay?" I forced a smile. Yeah, I'm fine. "Congratulations to Emily." Linda nodded, looking relieved. "Thanks, Alex. I knew you'd understand." She walked away, leaving me sitting there, my mind racing. I felt a mix of emotions, anger, frustration, betrayal, but mostly, I felt numb. Over the next few days, I tried to put on a brave face. I congratulated Emily, even though it killed me inside. I went to the team meeting where Linda announced her promotion, clapping along with everyone else, but inside I was seething. I couldn't understand why I'd been passed over. I'd done everything right, worked hard, delivered results, gone above and beyond, and yet, it wasn't enough. Then, one night, as I was going through some old files on my computer, I found something that made my blood boil. It was a presentation I'd put together months ago, a detailed marketing strategy for a new client. I'd spent weeks on it, pouring my heart and soul into every slide. But when I presented it to Linda, she'd shot it down, saying it wasn't innovative enough. But now, as I looked at the slides, I realized something. They were almost identical to the presentation Emily had given at the team meeting earlier that week. I felt a surge of anger. She'd stolen my work. She'd taken my ideas, my hard work, and passed them off as her own. And Linda had rewarded her for it. I sat there, staring at the screen, my mind racing. This wasn't just about the promotion anymore. This was about justice. I spent the next few days plotting my revenge. I knew I couldn't just confront Linda or Emily, they'd deny it, and I'd be the one who looked bad. No, I needed to be smart about this. I started by gathering evidence. I dug through my old emails, looking for any correspondence about the presentation. I found the original draft I'd sent to Linda, along with her feedback. It was all there, in black and white. Next, I waited for the right moment. I knew Linda was scheduled to give a big presentation to the company's executives in a few weeks. It was her chance to shine, to prove she was worthy of her position, and I was going to make sure she failed. The day of the presentation arrived, and I was ready. I'd spent the night before making a few adjustments to Linda's slides. Nothing too obvious, just enough to throw her off her game. I sat in the back of the conference room, watching as Linda set up her laptop. She looked confident, like she had everything under control. But I knew better. She started her presentation, and at first, everything seemed fine. But then, about halfway through, things started to go wrong. The first slide that popped up was one of mine, the one Linda had rejected months ago. She paused, looking confused, but quickly moved on. Then, the next slide appeared. It was another one of mine, but this time, it was accompanied by a glaring typo, one I'd added just for fun. Linda stumbled over her words, trying to recover, but the damage was done. The executives were whispering to each other, clearly unimpressed. By the time she reached the end of the presentation, Linda was a mess. She was sweating. Her voice was shaking and she could barely get through her closing remarks. I sat there trying to hide my smile. It was perfect. After the presentation, Linda stormed out of the conference room, looking furious. I followed her, knowing what was coming next. She turned to me, her face red with anger. "What the hell was that, Alex? Did you mess with my slides?" I feigned innocence. "What are you talking about, Linda? I didn't touch your slides. Don't lie to me. Those were your slides." "I know it," I shrugged. "Well, maybe if you hadn't stolen my work in the first place, this wouldn't have happened." She stared at me, her eyes wide. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the evidence of the emails, the drafts, everything. You passed over me for a promotion, and then you let Emily take credit for my work. How do you think that makes me feel? Linda looked stunned. Alex, I had no idea. Of course you didn't, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm, because you never bothered to listen to me. You just took my ideas and gave them to someone else. She sighed, running a hand through her hair. Look, Alex, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I didn't mean to save it. Linda, I interrupted. The damage is done. But maybe now you'll think twice before you screw someone over. I turned and walked away, leaving her standing there speechless. The next few weeks were interesting. Linda tried to apologize, but I wasn't having it. I'd made my point, and that was all that mattered. As for Emily, she was demoted back to her old position. It turned out she'd been stealing ideas from other people too, and once the truth came out, no one wanted to work with her. And me, well, let's just say I got a promotion after all. Not the one I'd originally wanted, but a new position, one where I could finally have a say in the company's direction. It wasn't the way I'd planned it. But sometimes, you have to take matters into your own hands, because if you don't stand up for yourself, who will? It's been a year since the stolen promotion incident, and things are finally looking up. I've got a new office, a new title, and a new sense of confidence. And as for Linda, well, let's just say she's learned her lesson. Because in the end, karma always finds a way to balance the scales. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more interesting stories happening around you.